Okay!
Oh hey guys, remember when I made a video on the first 3 Super Smash Bros. Games? Well, guess what? There are still 3 more to go! Yep, I'm going to go over the last 3 Smash Bros. Games, one of which gave us the absolute best fighter in the entire series. Super Smash Bros. 4, which is what Smash Bros. For 3DS and Smash Bros. For Wii U are collectively called, had a lot of build-up after they were both revealed during E3 2013. A website launched shortly after the reveal where there were updates on information on the upcoming games, mostly in images. After a big build-up for both games, Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS was the first to release on October 2014, and Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U released later on November 2014. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate also had quite the build-up after it was teased in early 2018 and then fully revealed at E3 2018. Multiple directs were made about it, hyping the game to be the most, wait for it, ultimate game in the entire Smash Bros. Series. It released worldwide on December 7th, 2018. So now that I've sped through the build-up and release of all the games, it's now time to do separate overviews of each game and reveal why Ultimate is the best solely because of one peak character.
Don't never buy no weed from the gas station, bro.
Starting with the basics, let's look at the standard Smash modes. You can play solo or play with local co-op against friends. First off, there are 51 fighters you can play as, with some of them being ones you unlock after playing a lot of the game. And there are also 7 DLC characters, which you can't get now because of the eShop being shut down, which is unfortunate. But hey, if you already had them, then good for you! There are many newcomer characters with 1, while technically 3, being Mii fighters. Yep, you can create custom Mii fighters and pick between 3 classes of fighters it can be, technically meaning the new Mii fighters count as 3 new characters. Anyway, there are only 2 battle modes you can play, timed and stock battles, but you can also play team battles, which is pretty fun with an amiibo fighter. Now, the roster of stages is not quite as big as the fighter roster, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have great stages like WarioWare, Tortimer Island, and Tomodachi Life, among others. You can play any stage in Omega form, which pretty much just makes it a simple flat stage, which is a nice feature if you don't want a dynamic stage and just want to be able to focus on the fighting. Just like some of the characters are unlockable, so are some stages, and they usually correlate to the character you unlock. When you unlock Wario, you unlock the WarioWare stage. Stuff like that. After you get into the battle, the fighting is very similar to Brawl's, but not as slow-paced, and strikes a good balance for amateurs and pros. Seriously, who's trying to professionally play this when Smash Melee and Smash Ultimate exist? Now that covers the most basic, necessary, and important mode for any Smash Bros. Game. Now to move on to the other modes. Now something very surprising Nintendo decided to do with Smash Bros. 4 was not include a proper adventure mode like Brawl and Melee had. The closest thing to an adventure mode in Smash for the 3DS is the Smash Run mode, which is actually pretty fun. You run through a big map with a bunch of enemies that will give you stat boosts when you defeat them, and you can find treasure chests, other treasure items, and you can use powers to help you in Smash Run. And while you are doing all of this, 3 computer players are also going through Smash Run and getting boosts, but not on the same map as you. You can't run into the CPU players in Smash Run, which is lame because being able to fight them and steal some of their boosts would be super cool, especially since you have to fight all of them in an end of the run final battle, and whoever wins, wins. The whole point is to upgrade yourself as much as you can before you fight other characters that have been trying to do the same, and it's pretty much just to give you an advantage in the final fight. That's it for Smash Run. It's no adventure mode, it's just the same thing over and over, but you can go through it as all the different fighters to get high scores and more treasure. But it's not a super deep mode. It is, however, quite fun, I will say. Moving on to games and more, you will see many options. Here you can register an amiibo in the game that acts as a fighter that you can train and level up as you put them through lots of battles to become the most ultimate and strong fighter, and that will end up becoming better than you, in every way possible. Anyway, you can once again choose to play the mode solo or with a friend nearby, and you have a few modes you can play here, including Classic Mode. Classic Mode on 3DS is great. You can choose different paths to take to determine who you will fight, and you can get extra goods going down certain paths, and of course, at the end you fight Master Hand. But you can fight both Master Hand and Crazy Hand for more reward if you're playing at a little higher difficulty. And at a much higher difficulty, you fight these shadowy monsters, and then after that you have to knock out the Master Core. Of course, at the end you get the trophy of the fighter you played as. And speaking of trophies, there are quite a lot. There are so many different trophies in Smash 3DS and Smash Wii U, and you can get them in so many different ways. You can get them as rewards in most different modes, you can play Trophy Rush where you just destroy stuff, and you can buy them from a trophy shop with gold you earn from playing all the other modes. Trophies have descriptions of what they are and what franchises they're from, and you can take screenshots of them and mess around with the settings. And since it's the 3DS, you can take 3D screenshots. For other modes, you can play All-Star, where you go through fighting every character, and you can play Multi-Man Smash, Target Blast, and Home Run Contest in Stadium. There's also Training Mode to learn how to play as certain fighters you're unfamiliar with. And that's pretty much all the modes you can play in Super Smash Bros. For 3DS. There are still some things you can do, but that's it for the fighting modes. Now, I mentioned you can create custom Mii fighters with custom stats and specials, but I didn't mention you can create custom characters of the rest of the fighters. That's right, for the first time you can customize fighters to your liking. You can change their stats, and you can change their specials as well, although it's just alternate variations of their special attacks, and you have to unlock them, which makes it take a long time to get all the alternate specials for all the characters. Yeah, the customization of fighters is a somewhat flawed feature, but still a really cool one that I sure hope doesn't get removed in a later game. For the final things, you can listen to music and challenges. Completing challenges unlocks you cool stuff like trophies, music, and other things, and that's about it. Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS, while a solid game, is missing quite a bit from past games, like a real adventure mode and stage builder. It has well-paced fighting with a pretty good roster of fighters, even though there are some unnecessary clone fighters like Dr. Mario and Dark Pit, and it also has a good, yet kind of small roster of stages. For the first Smash Bros. Game you can play portably, however, yeah, they pretty much nailed it. You can play Super Smash Bros. On the go. What more can you ask for? Well, I guess I have to move on to the more pretty, yet more boring sister game, Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U.
Oh, nice computer you got here. Can I have it?
Wow, look at this game. It looks almost identical to Smash Bros. On the 3DS. But actually, it has a lot of different things than Smash Bros. For 3DS, which just makes me question why they named these two games the way they did. Doesn't matter, I guess. Let's see what's different in the standard Smash modes. Well, going into normal Smash, you can choose between 3 different battle modes: timed, stock, and coins. What a weird random mode to add. I mean, who is begging for a coins battle mode in Smash? Well, it's actually a pretty fun mode where you just fight and collect as many coins as you can. Looking at the fighter roster real quick, it's the same. Yep, while Smash for 3DS and Smash for Wii U have a lot of differences, the biggest similarity is that they both have the same fighter roster with the same exact DLC fighters and stages. Now, the roster of stages is different between both games, with just a few stages being shared by both games. Smash for Wii U does have a bigger roster of stages than Smash for 3DS, but one of them is the Miiverse stage, and since the Miiverse shut down, it's now a more default stage than the default stage. Also, you can play every stage in flat Omega form, and the game's in HD. Yep, the biggest reason to like Smash for Wii U over Smash for 3DS is sadly because of the graphics, and because the Wii U's is better. I mean, this is the first Super Smash Bros. Game in crisp, clear HD. This game and Mario Kart 8 really felt special being the most amazing looking games in their respective series because they had never been HD before until now. Yeah, the game looks great. Anyway, you can now play Smash Bros. With up to 8 players in the 8-player Smash mode. Smash Bros. Is already a chaotic game with 4 players, so adding 4 more makes it a cruel, twisted joke. A fun, cruel, twisted joke, but still a cruel, twisted joke. Unfortunately, since 8 players is a lot, and many stages are small, you can only play on a few stages, with one of them being the most absurdly stupid and big stage that's literally like 20 times bigger than every other stage in the entire game. Now, you would think that this is a great stage for 8-player Smash because of how big it is. It's too big! And the stage is also annoying and stupid because the stage is so constricted that every time you try and launch out somebody else, they just bounce off every wall and floor of this stupid stage, which just makes me question who made this, and who looked at this stage, said, yeah, looks good, and okayed it. Great job, guys, for making the stupidest thing in existence. That was quite a rant. Moving on, you can also play Special Smash, which is playing Smash with custom rules where you can make the fighters have certain effects, and you can play with a fixed or angled camera. Cool. The most basic modes are out of the way. Let's look at Smash Tour. So instead of Smash Run, where you run around fighting weak enemies to level up for a final fight, you get a lame board game. At the beginning of every turn, you get an item, and you get an option to use an item. After you roll, you go around the board trying to pick up the best goods like stat boosts, items, and more fighters. If you bump into another player, you initiate a fight with everybody. What? And if you lose a fighter and get launched across the board. At the end, bonuses are handed out to different players, and then it ends with a final battle. Ultimately, you want to collect the most fighters above all else for the final battle, and level up stats as much as you can. But some of it is just kind of luck. It's a pretty good mode, but it's very short for a board game, and it's not as fun if you don't have other people to play with. If you ever find yourself playing Smash Tour by yourself, that's how you can know you're depressed. Time to talk about Classic Mode. It's bad! Classic Mode is really just okay. You get to pick who you fight, but whoever you end up fighting does not correlate with your fighter, and it's just a bunch of chaotic everyone for themselves battles over the focused fights in Smash 3DS. I guess it does randomize things so you can play Classic Mode as the same fighter multiple times with every play being different, but it's okay. For the final boss, you have no choice but to fight both Master Hand and Crazy Hand, unless you're playing at a high difficulty, because then you'll fight the shadowy things and Master Core like in 3DS. I really like Smash for 3DS giving you the option to fight an easier final boss, because you more ensure that you can fully play through Classic Mode at a high difficulty without dying and getting the difficulty bump down. It's just nice to have a choice, but Smash for Wii U says, you don't choose, we choose for you. For other modes, you have Special Orders, where you can spend gold to fight and win rewards, and Crazy Orders, you can also spend tickets, and you fight through multiple battles, but if you lose, and you lose some things. There are events where you fight under certain conditions, and All-Star Mode is different in this game. You still fight every character, but in reverse chronological order. Just like in Smash for 3DS, you have the Stadium modes, Multi-Man Smash, Target Blast, and Home Run Contest. Just like 3DS, you also have Training Mode. You can play those modes with friends in a group, and you can also make custom fighters just like in Smash for 3DS. Something that Super Smash Bros. For 3DS missed, though, was a stage builder. But here, you have it, and it's pretty good, although not anything too crazy. There's only so much you can do with Stage Builder, although random people on the internet have surprised me. For the final things to talk about, let's look at the vault. Trophies are the same as they are in Smash for 3DS, but something really super duper extra mega cool is the trophy shop. It looks like a real toy store. This is sick as hell. This is the coolest thing ever, and anybody who disagrees has 2 brain cells and no friends. This is awesome! This is the peakest thing about this game. This is almost my favorite Smash game, all because of the epic toy store. You can also view your trophies in series that are game specific. You can view your trophies in all different kinds of backgrounds and settings, and you get specific info on what game that trophy is from. It's funny how something can be the same, but also better than something else. That's how I feel about the trophies in this game. I mean, this is basically just a trophy collectathon game. On Smash for Wii U, you can play demos for 19 classic games where the fighters came from if you select Masterpieces. Now, the demos are just the game, but you can only play it for like 2 minutes and can't like save progress or anything. It's just see the games where all the fighters came from, and that I think is super awesome. Well, for the final thing, let's talk about the challenges in Smash Bros. For Wii U, and how they're way better than the challenges in Smash Bros. For 3DS. That were mostly super easy things like, play on this stage 3 or more times. That's not even a challenge, that's just telling me to go do something. There are 140 real challenges in Smash for Wii U. Now, since they are real challenges, some of them can be hard, but if you complete certain light blue challenges, you can get a gold hammer to literally just beat a challenge without having to actually do it. Now, that sounds cheap, but it's actually really nice when I suck at the game and need to complete this really difficult challenge. You can also do that in Smash for 3DS, but I never know when to use it because all the challenges are super duper easy. Now, after going through the Super Smash Bros. 4, what is the better game? On the one hand, they both have the exact same fighter roster. On another hand, Smash for Wii U has a few more stages in its roster. And on another hand, Smash for 3DS has more absolute peak stages. Smash for 3DS does a better job with all the different fighting modes, but Smash for Wii U does many of the little things a lot better. I think that Super Smash Bros. For Wii U is more peak than Super Smash Bros. For 3DS because HD and sick toy store.
I'm about to bust.
Now we've made it to the most recent and most content-packed Super Smash Bros. Game. Starting with Standard Smash, you can play stock, timed, or HP battles. And something great about this game is you can set up certain modes and save them so you don't have to change the modes all the time. Looking at the stages, this is it. We've reached a true peak gaming experience. There are 103 stages in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, with more from DLC, which you can play in flat Omega form or Battlefield form. How is this much content able to fit on a single Nintendo Switch cartridge? It's a freaking mystery. Man, if there are this many stages, I wonder how many fighters there are. Not only do you have all fighters from previous games, you also have many newcomers, making for the biggest roster in the entire series. You know how some fighters had to be unlocked in Smash for Wii U and 3DS? Well, you start with only 8 characters. Just 8! And whenever you encounter more, you have to beat them to unlock them until you have all of this. You go from 8 to all of this. DLC time. Let's talk about the DLC fighters that make this game the peakest peak that peak can be. So peak that it transcends reality, and so peak that it makes everything else look pathetic and small. I present the best fighter in Super Smash Bros. History, Piranha Plant. That's right, Masahiro Sakurai created the peakest fighter in Smash history as a troll. Piranha Plant was released as an individual DLC character with no stage tied to it, and it is the best fighter of all time because Funny Plant. Piranha Plant's final smash brings out Petey Piranha. So this is Petey Piranha's child? This is the best thing to ever exist. And as a close second, Steve from Minecraft made it to Smash Bros. In the DLC. When they revealed Steve, it was the most epic moment there ever was.
This is a moment in history! Take a picture! Yo!
Everybody collectively went, oh my god, they actually did it? And it also sold everybody on the DLC.
Shut up and take my money!
Yeah, they went all out on the stages and fighters in this game, and it is actually hard to get bored in this game with just how much there is. But looking at other Smash modes, you can play a tourney, which is basically a tournament with multiple setups to choose from. The best new Smash mode is Squad Strike. In Squad Strike, you choose either 3 or 5 fighters, and when you get KO'd as one fighter, it'll switch to another based off the order you choose. And it's really fun because it's a one-on-one fight, but with multiple fighters as you or the other player loses some. Special Smash has more options, one being Custom Smash, which is where you customize the rules and all the options are the same as they were in Smash 4. Smashdown is basically like All-Star from Smash 4 where you fight everyone in the roster, and there's just a super sudden death mode to end off all the standard Smash modes. Classic mode is very different. You can choose to play with a ticket to get more rewards, and after every round you go through, the intensity increases, unlike Smash 4 where it stays the same. Something to note about fights in Smash Ultimate is when you KO the last fighter on their last life, there's a special slowed KO animation to make the final knockout that much more satisfying, and makes it more disappointing for the other player for that realization. Anyway, if you die in Classic mode, you can also spend a ticket to prevent the intensity and rewards from decreasing, and before the boss you play a bonus game to rack up more points. And, for the first time in Smash Bros. History, you fight completely unique bosses in Classic mode, based off the series your fighter is from, giving every fighter a more unique journey in Classic mode. That is the best thing this game does to upgrade Classic mode. It makes the experience so much more unique, interesting, and fun for every fighter, and honestly, this alone makes this the best version of Classic mode in the entire Smash Bros. Series. You can also play Training, Mob Smash, which is basically just Multi-Man Smash, and you can play Home Run Contest, but not Target Blast unfortunately. You do have Stage Builder in this game and can do more cool things, but it's still mostly the same. You can create custom Mii characters as well. However, one of the coolest features of Smash for Wii U and 3DS has been removed: Custom Fighters. Now I know why they did this. There are so many fighters and making alternate specials for every fighter could have been too much, but I feel like they could have done it, and it's disappointing it's gone because instead of trying to improve an awesome feature that had some kinks, they just ditched it because why not? Whatever, I guess. There's still so much to do and so much fun to be had playing as Piranha Plant or Steve. Anyway, let's look at the adventure mode, since this game has one. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate World of Light is the adventure mode in Smash Ultimate, and it is indeed a thing that exists. That's literally all I can say about it. All the other fighters get corrupted and you start as Kirby, going through the world to find the other fighters, fight them, and have them join your party as you cure them of corruption. Damn, that's crazy. That concept sounds good, but all this mode is just walking through a PNG map, fighting normal battles on normal stages with one weird condition that's just there to make you believe this mode is even slightly interesting and unique. There's a skill tree. Okay. The one thing that this mode really introduces is spirits. What are spirits, you ask? Well, as you might have noticed, I have not mentioned trophies once, and that's because there are none. In place of trophies, this game has spirits, which aren't the cool 3D collectibles as in previous games. Instead, they're just PNG images, which I could probably find on the internet with one Google search. So this sucks. They also don't have descriptions. Instead, it just tells what series the spirit is from. Spirits are the lamest and most thoughtless things Nintendo has ever created. The only advantage to spirits is the fact that they're used as support items that give you more smash power and will have one special effect, although that special effect might just be starting the fight with a beam sword, so it's still kind of lame. I guess with all the things in the World of Light combined, it is a decent adventure mode, but it's nothing compared to the Subspace Emissary from Brawl. Overall, it is a fun but basic mode, and I will forgive Nintendo for spirits not only because they have use in battles, but because there are so many that it's genuinely astounding. For the last things to look at in Vault, you have challenges, which are pretty mixed. There are 124 challenges, and some of them are super easy, but some of them are actual challenges, and the rewards are pretty good, I guess. Now, Smash Ultimate is not only one of the best games on the Switch, but it's also one of the best music player apps on the Switch. It's also the only one. Yep, the Switch doesn't have like Spotify or anything on it, so to listen to music, you have Smash Ultimate. And I think it's stupid that not all the songs are already unlocked and you have to play a lot or buy some songs from the shop in order to listen to them. Like, bruh, this is the only way to listen to music on the system, and you're making some of the songs locked? It's also a problem on the 3DS because Smash for 3DS is also the music app for the 3DS. It makes sense for the Wii U because you don't need to listen to music on it because it's not a portable console, but whatever, I don't care that much. Well, that's Smash Ultimate, the most content-packed game in the series with an astoundingly big number of stages and fighters that make you feel stuffed every time you play. Well, after going through the last 3 games in the Smash Bros. Series, which one's the best? It's Ultimate. It's literally Ultimate. It has the most stages, it has the most fighters, 2 of which are the best characters in all of fiction. One great thing I'll say about all of them is that you can play them on your couch while a TV show is playing in the background for max stimulation to absolutely cook your brain, which is what I've done. Well, I've talked about all the Super Smash Bros. Games now. I don't really know what else there is. Wait. What is this? No. No, this can't be happening!